and it's been growing. You might have heard of it over and over. The Black Lives Matter and the struggle of African Americans, particularly in the US. I mean, you've heard the stories sometimes, but having to do with the police and sometimes clashes, and in fact, sometimes the system and how it sort of discriminates, I mean, against African Americans. We've told a story from a distance, I mean, mostly telling it about what's been going on in the US. It seems it's right here with us now, and you will get to understand a little more as we delve a little deeper. But I have with me in the studio here one African American who has been championing this issue of Black Lives Matter right here in Senegal. I saw a photo of them right in front of, guess where? The African Renaissance statue here in Dakar. A beautiful photo with the black outfit, with the fists raised in the skies, and the picture speaks for itself. One of them is here with me. Her name is Wamika. Wamika, you're welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, and glad to have you.
Thank you.
Maybe we get to know you a little before we begin. Tell me about Wamika.
My name is Wamika Vandere. I'm from New York City. I've been living in Dakar for the past 2 years. I've been working in education and development, and went to Howard University, and yeah, really interested in Pan-Africanism and what's going on right now in Africa and around the world.
Great. How has it been in Dakar so far? 2 years, that's quite a lot. You are older than me in Dakar, actually. How has it been for you, 2 years?
No, Dakar is beautiful. Dakar is a beautiful country. There's a lot of things that I'm learning, a lot of things that I'm observing, and I love Dakar, really.
But it's also hot.
Dafatangarek. No, too much.
Dafatangarek.
Too much.
That's the Wolof version of it is so hot.
Yes.
If a show,
Trop.
if a throw show. That's it, huh?
Yeah, I think it's Dafatanga Trop or something like that.
Yeah, Trop.
Yeah.
It's telling that you spent 2 years already.
Yeah.
How has it been learning the new languages? Do you speak French?
No, I speak French just a little bit.
Mm.
I just speak French a little bit. I speak Wolof a little bit, but I'm trying to improve. I'm definitely trying to be fluent by the end of next year.
But those French you've learned and basically have been learned here, right?
Yes, yes, and a little bit in Washington D.C., but mostly here, definitely.
Okay, because here you get to practice it more.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Tell me about the idea of introducing Black Lives Matter Senegal chapter. Tell me about it.
Well, I think that it's a really important conversation that we need to be having, because Black Lives Matter and the goals of Black Lives Matter, the campaign, it's not just for African Americans. It's for everyone, you know. And one thing that I realized was, being in Dakar, I realized that we were lacking in unity. When we were talking about police brutality in America, a lot of our brothers and sisters in Senegal and throughout the West African region, throughout Africa, sometimes they couldn't really relate. And they didn't really understand that, you know, when you go to America, these are your issues. It doesn't just impact African Americans. It impacts Black people from all over the world, you know. If you're a Senegalese, once you get to the Bronx, you're Black, you're African American. So this impacts you, and so this is a problem that you need to be worried about.
And how has this started here?
I think originally it was definitely just conversations and having discussions with people who were passionate about what was going on in America. And this was people from all over. We have Sokena. It was actually Sokena's idea to take the picture in front of the monument. And the photographer was Siku. He's a well-known, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he's a well-known photographer in Dakar. And yeah, that was her idea. That was her artistic idea, to take the picture in front of the monument. And I think that the conversation started just because it was something that it was, as African American, I couldn't not talk about it, even though I was in Senegal. You know, that's my family. Those, you know, I was born there. And so I was feeling a lot of grief. And some other African Americans that I know too, they were also feeling a lot of grief about what was going on, and we didn't have a way to express it. So after we were talking to some like-minded people, we realized that we weren't alone. There weren't, there's a lot of people who were passionate about the issues that are going on. And then we also realized that it's not just an American thing. It's kind of like a government, a people thing. We can look in Gabon. We see the police brutality that happened over there. If we look in Central African Republic, and we can see that a lot of countries are just not respecting black bodies. And the police who are getting paid by the government are not respecting black bodies. And I think that that's something that's, I don't know, it's a terrible thing.
See, tell me, in your mind, what is the problem? What is the underlying factor? I mean, what is this thing that has led to, let's say, a white policeman being so polite with a white driver, but wouldn't mind taking a gun and shooting someone who is in armless behind the wheel? What to you is the problem?
I think that the problem is really, really vast. I think that there's a lot of different factors that we have to think about. Number one, for me, I think it's really clear that it's racism. Black people are not respected as, I think that they don't respect the humanity of black people. I don't think that they see that black people are a group of people with,
with the rights as equal as anyone else.
Yeah, and I don't know, I personally really think that they just don't respect us as humans. They don't respect that, sometimes we have some issues, we have some problems like everyone else, and I just think that they see us as monsters, or they see us as something beneath them, and I just don't see that. I don't think that they see us as one and the same. And
which is simply racism anyway.
It's racism, but it's also like institutionalized racism, because people, it's happened. Look at what's his name, Amadou Diallo. That happened over, like, what was that, more than 20 years ago?
Close to it.
And the person who, one of the officers who was involved in that, I heard that they just won a prize for, like, best police officer in such and such. So how can you really expect the police to respect you when the justice system does not respect your life? That man was not raped, but
he was shot 41 times in the doorway of his home, and he was a vendor from Senegal.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that for me?
Amadou Diallo. And he was shot in the Bronx.
Right. He lived in the Bronx. He was a vendor coming home from work. Shot 41 times.
A hardworking man killed by the police. And, nothing ever happened to those police officers. We live in a country, America prides itself on being democratic, and we pride ourselves on always doing the right thing, and we want to go save lives, when we aren't even saving lives in America. The people who killed that man, the man who killed Trayvon Martin, the man who killed Eric Garner, all these officers are getting off scot-free, no problem. And so, of course, that's sending a message, and it's a very clear message. It's sending a message to cops and to people who take the lives of black men and women and children that it's okay. They're just black bodies. Because, that. And then you're sending a message to black people that your body, your life is not worth anything. Because if I kill you, I'm just going to get paid vacation. And it's not a joke anymore. It's not a poem anymore. It's not just one line that people are saying. This is the truth. If you look at it, if you look it up, most of the police officers who have killed black men, women, and children have kept their jobs, or maybe they went on desk duty for a little bit. But at the end of the day, they are able to go on with their lives. They are not going to jail. They're not being persecuted. And these black families are just left, ruined.
So listeners, you're listening to Daybreak West Africa, coming to you from West Africa Democracy Radio right here in Dakar, Senegal. We broadcast on 94.9 FM. And today we've been having one of those stories that sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes a bit depressing, but that's why we have to tell it. And through telling it, we're hoping that we are breaking the stereotype. We're breaking the kind of difficulties that surround those topics. At the end of the day, to bridge the gap between every life on this earth And that's how come the issue of Black Lives Matter. I'm speaking with Wamika, African-American based here in Dakar. And she's been championing the idea of having a Black Lives Matter or Black Lives Matter movement here in Dakar.